Rings of a Tree. The great date movie. Life sometimes seems scary, so
Oh, wow.
we're all neurotic, right? I get scared going to horror movies.
What was going through your head?
I couldn't control the fear.
Welcome back to the DaneMellowsTalks podcast. So we've got a very, very special guest today from what some are calling the horror movie of the year. My guest today scared the life out of me many times as his character, Carl Rankin, in Smile 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, Jack Sochet. How is it going?
Well, it's going well, and thank you for having me.
Anytime. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on. Thank you very much for coming through. So like I say, you scared the life out of me during Smile. It was an absolutely amazing performance.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I guess I'm supposed to say thank you, even though I scared the crap out of people. You're welcome. Yes,
it's a weird exchange. I'm one of those weirdos that like watching horror films, though. So
no, it's good. Yeah. So it was effective. Yeah.
Yeah. An absolutely amazing performance. So one of the key parts of it, though, obviously in the film Smile, was that creepy smile that you had to do. So was that part of like the audition process? Did you have to prove that you could do that in advance?
Now I don't know if it defined me getting the role, but yeah, there was a scene where I had to smile and basically hold it for a little bit.
Yeah, because they had all the promotion for the film as well, didn't they? Where they had the characters.
Yes, and baseball games and such,
yeah.
Standing behind, just smiling behind home plate. Yes, which was a great campaign.
Definitely, yeah. So how did you actually like perfect that smile then? Because it was, like I say, it was one of the things that stuck into my mind in this scenes that you were in.
Well, it's interesting. It's to do the smile. I don't know. I'm not the pro. I'm not saying this is how you have to do it.
A professional smiler.
Exactly. This is the only way you can do it, or else you're not allowed to do it. Is the idea is you have to smile and keep your eyes open, but the eyes are dead, basically.
Right.
Which is hard. And also for me, sometimes initially it was hard not to like have my eyes start to water.
Oh yeah, of course.
But yeah, that's the key element, to smile and have dead eyes.
Could we have, just in case someone, any of the watchers haven't seen the film, can we have a little preview of the
course.
smile?
Now, I haven't warmed up, people.
Oh, okay. You've not done the face exercises yet.
I'm joking. I haven't done my stretches.
Yeah. Get ready for the smile. Oh, wow. You know what? I'm getting scared again right now.
Right.
Round of applause. Well played. Well played. Yeah, it was.
Some of them. Now, some people, I don't know, but it's like the more like.
Yeah.
They've been more like a look up.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it works for your character though to have like the dead on straight.
The dead on. Yeah.
So
let me see yours. How have you been working on it?
Oh God, I'm on the spot a little bit. Well, so we're doing the dead eyes, the big smile.
Right. So, that's good.
Yeah.
Get
me in Smile too.
And also the great thing is if you hold it for a little, like a few seconds too long, it's really freaky.
Yeah, it
really
like
helps.
It gives the other person that like sense of uncomfortable, which then just adds on to it, doesn't it? Yeah.
So you're like, is this ever going to stop?
Yeah. When you did it, then I was like, what have I just asked him to do? I broke Jack.
Right. I was just
in your role as Carl Rankin, did you have to take inspiration from any other roles that you've done before, or any actors that you were either working with or look up to?
Well, that's a good question. I would say, interestingly enough, my wife is a psychiatrist in life. So we talked about what issues Carl could have. Right.
Okay.
Because he's overall I like to think of Carl as a good guy. He's just having trouble figuring out his way in the world. And he's a little sad. People used to call him on set like poor Carl. But yeah, so I just kind of played it on that, talking about what kind of issues he had with my wife, who's a psychiatrist, and just that was it.
Yeah. And what kind of things did you manage to pull from that would have been like shown in your performance?
That, sometimes, there's a whole expression I say that, we're all neurotic, right? We all have like our own like weird quirks that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some of us are able to maintain the balance of like life and quirks, and other people, their neuroses takes over
Right.
the balance. So for him, it was more like his fears took over
Yeah.
that he couldn't function any longer. Like he couldn't control the fear. So, which I think is, I relate to. I mean, life sometimes seems scary. So
yeah,
we'll have
definitely
to have a balance. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think. Well, I'm no actor myself, but I feel like you have to kind of have that element of being able to relate to your characters to get into the roles.
Yes. Yeah.
To give like a true performance, even in a character like Carl.
Right, and not to like go off on a tangent, but mental health right now is really important.
Definitely.
In the UK, as well as where I am in New York City, that a lot of people are struggling with it. So, and it shouldn't be. We should be able to talk about it, and people should get help for it. And the good thing about Carl is he goes to get help.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. He's been in and out of this place probably 50 times.
Yeah.
But he's trying to get help.
Yeah, definitely. It's that prime example of that.
Right.
One of the scenes that stood out for me as Carl was the scene where she walks past the door, she sees you smiling, walks in, and that's the one that really got me, or so I want to speak to you about. When the part that like made me jump was when you turn to the camera and scream, "You're going to die." Right, what was going through your head in that scene when filming that, to put yourself in that position to give the audience, myself, that jump that we got?
Well, I mean, interesting enough, it's the first time Carl's able to like take it out on somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole other scene, he's like, I'm gonna, like it's all about personal loss. And then this one's like, now it's your turn. Like, so it's just kind of fun, like I'm not saying fun in that kind of way, but like he was,
of course,
finally able to like take it out and say, now it's you who does it. You
can flip that switch.
Right, exactly, yes.
Oh no, very cool, yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun scene to shoot.
Yeah, in like a weird way, like you say, because it is not a fun moment for the characters, but it must be really fun and enjoyable to flip that character in that sort of way.
Exactly, yes. And also, Sochet Bacon, who plays Rose, the psychiatrist, is phenomenal. Great person to work with. Great in this movie. I mean, she's definitely. She carries this movie. She's like our captain, and she did a great job. And so, yeah, it was easier to do stuff like that with someone who's so kind.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I imagine that it is a case of the actors bounce off of each other. And so, do you find that with any other actors that you was filming with?
Yeah, but interesting enough, I really only filmed with Sochet I would say all the time.
Right.
Or her boss, Cal Penn. So that was the only people that really met well on set. And they were both lovely. So yes.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Cal as well. I've seen him in a few other things before. But yeah, no, so it must have been really cool to work with actors like that, and going into it with knowing like the rest of the cast, and knowing like the story of Smile, with it being released around Halloween as well. Did you have any idea of how much this film was going to grow and how much it was going to become like the spectacle of what it's been? It's
interesting I say, because first of all, Parker Finn, who wrote it and directed it, when I read the script, I really liked the script because it wasn't just your typical, slasher film.
Yeah, so definitely.
It felt more like like for me, like The Shining or It or something like that, where it had a serious plot too. So I kind of had a hunch it'd be good. And then, and also our cinematographer was amazing in this. And the score is the same guy who did White Lotus.
So good, yeah.
The music is so good. So like the elements were great. And also, it's funny. I have to but so I didn't know it'd be this big.
Yeah,
I think it crossed like $200 million or something recently.
Wow, yeah.
But I remember I got a DM from Parker, the director, just saying to me randomly. He's like, "Hey, go check out Top Gun Maverick." Mm-hmm. And I was like, "That's weird." And I thought it was just like being like a guy, like, bro, check out this movie, you'll like it. It was through Paramount Studios, our film. And then like the following day, I get all these like texts from my friends saying, "Yo, you're in the trailer. There's a teaser trailer for Top Gun." And once that happened, I had a hunch. I was like, if Paramount is showing this right before Top Gun Maverick, and there's my face and the other girl, Caitlin's face, they must think it's a pretty good film.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
had a good feeling. And then opening weekend, it blew up. So I was like, it's so great. But Parker, you can just tell by the story because it's a good story.
It's an amazing
Like
story.
it's a
Yeah.
good film. I mean, it is a scary film and a horror film, but in general, it's a good film. So yeah.
Yeah. When I left the theaters for it, it was I went with my girlfriend and I was like, I've not been scared at a horror film like that in a long time, and actually like also enjoyed the story, and you can appreciate
Right.
each of the characters in there.
Yeah. And also, it's a great thing to bring a girlfriend too, because
Yeah.
you want to cuddle. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like it's
definitely.
a
Yeah.
perfect date movie. That's why I
Well,
tell them all the time. Go on a date to smile, man, because you'll be touching throughout the night.
yeah. Well, yeah, something that you'll be pleased to hear is on the road that we was on in the cinema. There was me and my girlfriend and a group of like teenage lads, and they
Right.
were all in like hoodies, all looking like the man's man. And I looked across at them halfway through the film after one of the jump scares. They all had the hoodies up, tied as much as they could, like all like, whoa, no.
Yeah, maybe they might have worn the hoodies on purpose. Like they were gonna
Yeah,
be tough. But they knew that if in case they just pull
yeah.
the hoodie down. It's true.
It was definitely a tactical move from them.
It was. It was good. Yeah.
Yeah, so it
Also, I
was.
love when you go to a movie theater and people are just like talking to the screen, right? And they're like, "No, where are you going?
Yeah, yeah.
Stop!" You know, because usually that annoys me talking to the screen. But horror films, it's the best thing ever.
It definitely is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was one of those films that like one of those horror films where you don't know what the jump scare is going to be and when it's going to happen, because
Right.
the director had teased it a few times, like teased the jump scare, and then nothing happens, and then something else gets you, and then I was like, wow, it had me on the edge of my seat throughout the entire thing, kept me
Well,
on
I'm
my
glad.
toes, definitely.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
yeah, no, great. It was honestly a great bit of work, and I knew as soon as we left the theater for it, I was like, I need to speak to one of these amazing actors on there, like yourself, to like dive into your minds about what went on in like the filming process and all the behind the scenes sort of it.
Yeah.
Just because I enjoyed it that much. So other horror films though, other than Smile, what is your favorite horror film?
You know, I think I said it before. I mean, I really like The Shining. I
Right,
think it's like a
the classic
great
one.
movie. I also do really like. I'm not sure it's as horror as like this, but Rosemary's Baby is a
Right, yeah.
scary movie. So, but I gotta say honestly, I was. I'm gonna really throw myself down the river, whatever the expression is. But I get scared going to horror movies. Like I
Really?
definitely am like. So I haven't gone in a long time, but after working on this film, I was like, it kind of opened my eye like how great they are again and how creative they are. So I'm going to start going more often again. I hear that there's one that's right out right now with Justin Long that's supposed to be good.
Right. Which one's that?
I can't remember. He's like going back to his house, and then all of a sudden, like Barbarians, I think it's called.
Oh, I have heard of that. Now you say that, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I've not seen it, but I've heard it's supposed to be quite good.
So I will watch Barbarians, but like yeah. So yeah. Also, I did really like Nope, even though it's not horror.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, definitely. So do you think it's like helped you then to being in a horror film to maybe watch it and appreciate it in a different way and maybe make it a little bit less scary for you?
I mean, I hope. I don't know. I watched this at the premiere, right? I had not seen it, and I'd read the script, and I was still like, "Oh man," you know.
Yeah.
It still got me a few times, and so another person in production was like 2 seats over, and she couldn't stop being like, "What are you? No!" You know, like no. So even though we all knew what was happening, it was still scary.
Is that something that you find? I know you mentioned it in horror films. It's really nice to see that, like, no, don't walk in there, sort of thing. But
Right.
Is that like a pet peeve of yours in films in general?
I mean, it depends on the type of movie, but I don't mind like like if it's like a Top Gun Maverick or horror film, I kind of support it and like it. My only pet peeve would be if somebody told me, if somebody was like just on their phone,
Yeah.
like they weren't. I don't mind talking to the screen or giving the opinion of the screen, but if they're just on the phone, just chatting or talking to their friend, then that's a pet peeve for me.
Yeah, definitely.
I support talking to the screen. It doesn't bother me. Hey, I'm like, it makes sense,
Yeah.
So yeah, I have no problem people saying, "Watch out," or "That's
Yeah.
whatever their opinion is." But
Yeah,
just don't talk on the phone. That's all I would say. All right. be technical.
That's really interesting, because I definitely agree with the on the phone one. I think it's just very disrespectful to the film that you've gone to see, but also the people around you who are trying to enjoy it. But the talking in the movies or the cinema in England is very much like, if anyone's talking, everyone's turning around at them like, you need to be quiet. The only really experience I've had with that is in like the Marvel films, where where it's like the release day one, it's like everyone's cheering and stuff.
Right.
It's definitely like a pet peeve of people like chewing loud or talking in the movies. Do you think that is that like a normal thing to do in like an American cinema then, like outside of horror films?
I think it depends on where you are, but I think people are pretty respectful. But I think that I don't mind the reaction to something like, ooh, but I think certain movie theaters, people are incredibly quiet, in certain films, incredibly respectful. In other films, there's much more of an engagement. So I would say, it just depends on where you are. Like if you're in LA, people are so into movies that people will rarely speak during it.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, they'll talk about it nonstop to what they like. So it just depends.
Oh, that's quite similar, and that's really cool. Going back to favorite horror movies, what do you feel about horror movies like on the newer side of things? Because I know the first horror film I watched, I don't know if you've seen it, is Insidious.
Oh yeah.
And I really liked that, but I really enjoyed the second Insidious when it then went back and it was like, this is why all this stuff in the first film had happened.
Well, I think what's going well right now, honestly, is we're having, I don't know what it's called, like horror renaissance. Like all of a sudden people are really back into it. And I think part of the reason is because, similar to like a blockbuster, it really gets people to go to a movie theater together. Because the best way to watch a horror film is in a movie theater, honestly.
Yeah.
Or if you really want to freak yourself out by yourself with no lights, like removed, like no one, the closest person is like a mile away.
Sat in the middle of a room.
Right. And there's no one nearby.
Yeah.
That's another really good way to watch a horror film. If you have it in you. I don't personally.
I definitely don't.
So I just think but there's so many more coming out that are good and creative, and I just think it's a great time for horror, and I'm really happy about it because it's very creative.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's in a certain sense, you have the freedom that people have, like that do animation, because you can really think of anything and create it and then bring it to life, and it's really an amazing thing. Like the thing at the end of our movie. Like that entity.
It freaked me out.
Right. I mean, like that dude thought that.
Yeah.
Right? Parker was like, "What's it gonna look like? This?" And how you get that license to be like, "This is what I think it is."
It's crazy, crazy that can like the human brain can be like, "Yeah, let me put this together," and then to go from that to get it as good as it looked on screen in the film, it was insane.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So. I'm really an appreciator of horror.
Yeah. I've always been, like I say, since I watched Insidious with my mates in school, I've always been one for the jump scares. And I feel like in real life now, when one of my mates jump scares me, I'm really bad for it. I'll start moving and I can't control. And I was like that in the theater, like my leg just started kicking and I was like, I can't stop it. I go really bad with it. But I enjoy like that adrenaline rush of the horror films.
It's true. It's why people love Halloween. People like being scared. And what I think the thing about fear or that kind of being scared is you are immediately where you are.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden your whole senses are alive and you're like, this is where I am. Everything else goes out of your head. It really puts you right where you are.
It definitely does.
It knocks you into the present. You could do yoga or you could be scared.
Yeah.
It's your choice.
I love the two options there.
Right.
So like an absolutely amazing performance in this film. What are your steps from here? What are your goals for the future?
Well, I shot a film in Montana recently that is also dark, I guess, in a certain way, but it was very fun. So I'll just keep working, keep plugging along and telling stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to do.
It's definitely a very interesting life to live, and it looks very, very enjoyable.
You're right. My sister could never live this life. She says she says it's too unstable and crazy, but I love it. So we're a good match.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
right.
it does seem like a lot of fun. So do you feel like that like kind of dark side of cinema is what you're going to stick down, or would you like to explore other elements?
Yeah, I'm open to anything, honestly.
Yeah,
it's as long as the story is interesting and it's cool people to work with.
yeah,
I gotta say, the cast and crew on this film were just really fun to work with and nice people. And there's an expression I really like that I don't know if I'm allowed to curse, but I'll curse a little bit. When it said, my dad was like, or somebody said it, if you there's an asshole in every room, and if you can't find the asshole, it's probably you.
Yeah.
So it was great because like there were literally no assholes. So I had to check make sure it wasn't me. So it was very good, and the director was really supportive. And as I said, Sochet was like, she was a great leader for us.
Mm-hmm.
And she had a hard job, and she was still kind and considerate, and which I don't know if I were in that position and so much pressure and so much just time needed and work.
Yeah,
she was really fantastic. So
I bet it's always really nice to have that supportive cast and crew with you as well, because it'll help you get through a film like this.
Yeah, and it's like it's great. It's done so well because of it, because we all like put our hats in the ring and then it turned out really well and it feels really good. Premiere, we're all like just really happy for each other.
Yeah, it's not like a one man show. It's not like a selfish thing. It's
right,
and always that would work out for a better piece of work at the end of it, because you can all actually communicate. You're all enjoying the process of it.
Yeah, definitely.
So just to close off the podcast on this, I have every time I have a guest on, I have the guest ask the next guest a question. So before,
I don't know even I have no idea what the guest could be doing.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely no idea. So before you ask my next guest the question, I have a question.
I have my question ready.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So would you want to ask your question first before answering yours?
Yes. I'll ask my question.
Go for it.
Are they a high top wearer or a low top wearer? Were they ever high top wearer? Were they once low top? I'm talking about sneakers, kicks.
Yeah.
And why have they changed? And why have they remained the same?
Very interesting. A very interesting question.
Because I personally am a high top wearer.
Right. Okay.
And I've always been a high top. And I try go low, but it just doesn't feel the same. Even though I'm getting better at it, but always high top.
Yeah,
I judge people on whether they're high or low.
It's definitely my new way of judging people now. I'm low top though, but
see, that's good.
Yeah. So, but my issue is I'm you can't tell on this video, of course, but I'm 6'5" and I've got size 15 feet. So in America it'd be size 16. So I can't get shoes anywhere. So, and I really, really love like the American style sneakers, but I have one pair and I absolutely treasure them because I can't find any others in my size.
Maybe you should look in the States more because of all the NBA players. I would think basketball would have more large sizes.
Well, I went to...
I'll keep my eye out for you.
Thank you very much,
Are you 15 or 16?
So it'll be UK 16, America... UK 15, America 16.
Okay, I'll keep my eyes
Thank you very much. Okay, so time for your question from the last guest. So
I'm ready.
If you had the opportunity to go back in time, would you change anything and why?
Wow. That question is a lot more intense than my high top.
Yeah. she took a bit of a different...
Maybe I should change my question.
Yeah. No, I like yours. Stick with it.
I mean, obviously there are a lot of things I wish we hadn't done. Like, I mean, I don't want to get political, but I wish we didn't have the Iraq War. I wish we didn't have a certain president that was our president for 4 years. I wish that people weren't regressing in the United States on LGBTQ rights, women rights. There are a lot of things that I would like to have changed that I could have, But as far as myself goes, luckily, in the most recent, nothing profound has happened for me that I wish I could go back, because I do also have the feeling that sometimes, I fucking like I'm going to be a little cheesy again, but that, it's like rings of a tree, man.
Yeah.
So the reason I stand today is because of all the rings and shit I went through to get to today.
Yeah, definitely.
And if I had not gone through that, who knows where I'd be. But there are plenty of things in the world that if I could go around and be like, no, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. I could go on and on.
Yeah,
and on
definitely.
And on.
Well, like for what you said about yourself, that'd be my answer as well. Kind of thing of everything happens for a reason, that you are where you are today because of everything that's gone on, good or bad.
Right. Yeah.
But then it's also the idea of all the terrible things that have happened. You want to go back and stop them, and then it's also the idea of then the lessons that we learned from that is why they don't happen now.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, like, to make it more, I mean, not be too personal, like my father died suddenly. Now I wish he had not died suddenly, obviously. But and it's, they always say it's better for the person, whatever, but it's horrible for the family.
Yeah.
But I don't think as of today, I wouldn't be like, I wish it were different. No.
Yeah. No, that's it.
I do wish we were not politically the way we are. That I would go back and change in a second.
Yeah.
Not me, but about other people, just people being treated the way they're treated. Yeah, I would change that in a second.
But it's quite nice to hear that as an answer, because a lot of people, when you ask these questions, including myself, would do it's like solely about me. It's like anything in my life would I change? But it's nice to hear, well, let me go back and change this stuff that has affected other people in a negative way.
Yeah.
No, really, really good answer for that though. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. And I hope the person has a really good answer with a high top, low top question.
Yeah.
Because it's profound. It's secretly profound.
Exactly.
Like, you think it's not, but if you really dig deep into it,
there's hidden meanings.
It shows a lot about him being right.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'll let you know what their answer to the question is for the next interview. Yeah, but yeah, thank you very much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. Is there anything?
Thank you for having me. It was fun.
No, is there anything that you'd like to plug, like your Instagram or any projects that you've got coming up, like you were talking about?
Yeah, my social media is Jack Sochet. My last name is spelled Sochet. So it should be Jack Sochet, but it's not Jack Sochet. And that's at Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all of them. And I want to plug, just go see Smile. It's still out there. It's still doing well. Go see the second times, because there's a lot of little hidden things in it. Because Parker, the director, really knows horror. So he says the more you watch it, the more if you're a horror aficionado, the more you'll get stuff like references and little things like that. So I'd say go watch Smile. And next thing I'm in it, I have 2 things that'll come out soon. Just check them out if you got the time, and just be well.
Very good. Yeah, definitely go and watch Smile. Check it out. I can't recommend it enough. And yeah, keep your eye on Jack Sochet. Big things, more big things coming.
And I would say also, like, if you're on Tinder, take a Tinder date to Smile.
Yeah.
It'll work for you. Trust me.
He knows his stuff. It's
a great date movie.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Right, but yeah, thank you very much for coming on, Jack. I really appreciate the time, and it's been.
We'll leave it with a smile. How about that?
Yeah. We'll end it now. You ready? I'll hold it as long as you do, man.